Hello, planet watchers. I'm coming to you from Stonehenge for this solstice. Hey, Mary Jane.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's bucket list. Have you ever been?
Well, no, I've never been there. I've been to some fairly moving menhirs and things like that in France, but never to Stonehenge. No.
Wow. Now, we've got a Woodhenge here in Missouri. No, actually, it's in Illinois, but it's just on the other side of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I don't know
No.
the name off the top of my head. It's a Native American community that had been there. Huge, huge city state, Native American.
Uh-huh. Sure.
There's a mound. Oh, Cahokia. So Cahokia, Illinois, which is just the suburb of
just
St. Louis,
uh,
a big Woodhenge there. So I'm hoping to see that in the next year.
oh yeah, that's exciting. That's good stuff.
That's
Oh
really
yeah, especially if you could be there for a solstice, if they've in fact plugged it in on the sun schedules as was done in Stonehenge. Well, that would be a very moving experience.
I think so too. Of course, with the main goal, of course, I would love to get to Stonehenge.
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful. I haven't lived for a solstice, but I understand it gets really crowded there.
Oh, I'm sure so. I'm not even sure you could see the sun. That you might not even see the stones.
Probably not. Oh my God. So how are you?
Well, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm
You are
trying to get used to the cold. It's gotten awfully cold here. We're just breaking into winter slowly but surely.
so
And Geneva gets very gray and kind of ugly at this season. So we have to hold up and look for the sun somewhere else, basically.
yes, I know. Given the geography of Geneva, you've got that big lake there and mountains
Right.
all around.
Mountains all around, the Jura on the west that acts like a barrier to any good weather, and the Alps then on the east side and in the south that kind of block everything up. Also, the Bernese Alps that are up north. So, yeah, we're kind of in this hole. And so the clouds just sort of move in and stay there, and it's grim.
I remember from when I lived there, it's like October to April. It's like just gray and cloudy.
Kind of hard to take some.
Oh
You
my
have to
God.
get up though to the mountains. Apparently, they're the weather is wonderful. It's warm,
Oh,
it's sunny, it's gorgeous, and well, anyway, when you can get out of town, it's kind of nice to do.
oh.
It's otherwise a lovely town.
It's
Just
I
great.
love Geneva. It's really my second home. Truly, truly, truly. One of my favorite cities in the world, even though.
Yeah,
Oh
it's a
my
fun
God.
place. It's
Well, now,
a fun place.
let's talk about the elephant in the room. You are festive.
Yes, well, this is, I mean, I'm looking so forward to New Year's Eve, getting into some new energy here. And so I thought I would, get decorated, like the halls and all the rest.
I'm going to have to stay up till midnight on New Year's just to make sure 2025 is really gone.
Oh, I know. It's going to be kind of a relief. Whatever else is coming up, I cannot be really more worse than that.
Oh, no. So we should really do another episode where we talk about the energies of 2026. We'll talk about that.
We'll
I
talk
don't-
about that.
Are you on CoStar? It's an app called CoStar.
No, not at all.
I love CoStar. It gives me daily horoscopes for me and my friends and compatibility reports. But lately, it's been giving a 2026 teaser saying basically that 2025 says, here, hold my beer.
Right.
And stating that in 2026, there are some configurations that are the same configurations as the United States Civil War.
Uh-huh. Okay, that
Are
makes
you
sense.
seeing anything like that on your end?
I haven't been looking for anything like that.
Oh, good.
I've found that a month at a time, maybe a year at a time, is a whole lot. So actually, I haven't looked ahead, but I'm willing to believe that, these cycles are very true. We saw this a couple of years ago with the theme of from 1776, from the founding of the Constitution, and that the same warlike, independence-like movements in the sky are happening again, and we're seeing proper revolution in various places around the world. So, yeah,
Right?
we're on schedule. We're on schedule.
Yeah. Well, we'll cross 2026 when we get there. But now we're talking about Capricorn.
Capricorn. The winter solstice, of course, marks our entry of the sun into the period of Capricorn. And what I found really nice with this particular solstice is that just a couple of days before, on the 19th, I think, of December, is the new moon. So this is happening right on the same schedule as the new moon that starts a growth period of the moon, as it comes bigger and bigger in the sky. Why, the same thing is happening with nature. It's gone to bed, and now we're starting to see more and more sun. This is when the earth turns around and we start seeing more and more daylight. So, hey, it's all happening at the same time, and I think that's a very good sign.
Right. That's a very good sign.
Yeah, I think so.
Speaking of signs, what else can we expect coming up in Capricorn?
Well, let's talk about the big picture for just a minute.
Yeah.
I like to set the heavy planets, the slow planets, in the sky because we're bouncing off these slow planets that are giving a pattern for the whole civilization. We just have to kind of surf in between and see how we can adapt our lives to the general picture. So what's going on in this general picture? First of all, the master of Capricorn, is Saturn. Saturn is still in a holding pattern in strong conjunction with Neptune. Now, this is the marriage between the dream of Neptune and the reality of Capricorn. It's very good building material. It's very good imagining material, and also plugs us into the idea of proper and real construction, possible construction of these dreams. So it's been a nice conjunction for these last few months. Also, they're both acting quite nicely with Uranus, which is giving us an idea of innovation, which is giving us an idea of new ways to develop these different dreams, these different constructions. So these are still going on. These are still should be very active, in fact, in ongoing discussions. Again, we have to look at the entire picture all over the world, and these are important, have been important in the discussions for peace plans, first of all in Gaza, second of all in the Ukraine. This is ongoing. These discussions are still going on. We don't see half of what's going on. However, the problem here is that our friend Venus is going to be square to all of these actors, all of the heavy planets. It's square and in conjunct to all of the actors here. And so is creating problems with money. The whole thing boils down to money and territory. So this is throwing the wrench in the work as far as getting any progress on a real peace plan. This is really hard. It all turns around, I think a lot of it turns around the freezing of funds. Russian money is tied up in Switzerland, among other places, and they want their hands on it. Donald Trump wants his hands on it, and no one is willing to give over this money because it's supposed to be devoted to the reconstruction of Ukraine. So where is this going? It's going in circles. It's going like this, and until we get the money and the territory issues ironed out, if ever, we're not going to see much progress in peace negotiations.
Mm.
So, now, Jupiter is helping a lot. Jupiter is doing its very best to give a legal impetus to Saturn and to Neptune from the 21st of December clear up until the 13th of January. So this is going to be nice, especially I want to point out the 26th of December, the 30th and the 31st of December, the 3rd of January, and the 7th and 8th of January. 8th of January is a magical date. It's going to be very exciting on several levels, so we'll see. And also the 12th of January, that are very positive as far as negotiating contracts, negotiating projects, getting construction projects lined up. This is excellent in home improvement, architecture, all sorts of things that want this help from Jupiter.
Okay, I am excited for that because, as you know, I had to have my bathroom completely torn out upstairs in my century-old house, and the contractors did a terrible job. I have to have it redone, and it's going to fall during that time.
Well, that could be the good news. I'm thinking so too.
Right.
It's going to be excellent for that kind of work. It's less good, I have to say, for, I want to say, separation and divorce proceedings, ruptures of contracts, renegotiation of contracts is going to be very difficult through this time for some of the same reasons, especially, I'm going to say, between the 5th and the 20th of January, that is to say, almost all the period of the January period of Capricorn. A little bit rugged for any contract dealings, positive or negative, that is to say, breaking or making new contract negotiations. Very difficult through this time. So back to the drawing board, get busy setting up your new house plans or whatever you're doing, whatever your boat plans, your whatever plans you got going, and wait to sign contracts until, I'm going to say, until we get into Aquarius.
Well, so I've got a very dear friend who's going through a divorce. And so I'm going to tell her, I just made a note to tell her, don't do this during January.
Yeah, just, well, be prepared to get very little done, at least on a positive angle. The problem there is that this same Jupiter is going to be opposite Vesta, is going to be square to Chiron, so that in fact, deciding what belongs to whom, separation of goods that you've held in common, especially if you have a business or an industry that you have in common, the house, the dog, whatever. These things are going to be extremely difficult to separate, let's say, equanimously. That's the hard news here.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough.
It is. It's kind of a hard month, I've got to say. There's some shining lights that we'll get to, but first I have to talk about the sun that's going to be joining Mars that's already in Capricorn very soon, couple of days, and they will both be opposite to Hygia. Now, this is going to bring across another revival of the flu and the COVID epidemics. The all viral infections in general are going to be set off by this opposition.
Now, you mentioned
However,
you mentioned Hygia.
Hygia, yes, Hygia is a little bitty asteroid. Doesn't seem very important. However, she seems to have a lot to say about our attitudes toward health, keeping healthy, and it is to have a clean way of life, taking your vitamins, doing all those good things, eating your greens, taking care of your body, and one's susceptibility to disease, so on. Yeah, about what to do with healthy atmosphere, healthy attitude towards oneself. So that's why it seems to be, especially from the attack from Mars, this brings around all kinds of, well, bacterial infections, certainly is Mars. Neptune, that's in square, talks to us about viral infection. So they're both going to be important.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's already happening here in Kansas City.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of flu, especially here. And the good news here, Jupiter is here to help, and the vaccines are effective. They are going to be helping put off a lot of very evil symptoms. So think about it.
Yes, I need to schedule some time to do that. I need a couple of days off to recover.
True. Yeah. True enough.
Yeah.
They could be heavy. You know, a lot of people have no symptoms at all after their vaccine. Some other people are really laid low by it. So you just don't know. But in any case, they are effective. So think it over with that in mind.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. I mean, vaccines save lives.
They do, especially if you're in a bad terrain. You know, they talk about us old people. They talk about pregnant mothers and so on and so forth. People who are otherwise having trouble with their immune system. It's just a really good idea to take care of oneself.
I think so too.
I want to come back for a minute to our friend Venus, who's not doing all these wonderful things this month, I've got to say. She is in tight conjunction with Mars in Capricorn. It's not very romantic. I think it's going to be more of a convention of wills. You know, this is where a man and a woman, for instance, or two lovers decide that really they've got a great partnership going, you know, and it's a very strong thing and they can do big things together. It's not particularly hearts and flowers, but, you know, these things can work as well. I'm thinking, though, that there's going to be a rather bloody day on the stock market, notably this 8th of January, which is very nice for some other things. But with the help or hindrance of a very strong moon, it's a day that's extremely hyperactive. People are making some really silly speculations, very unsure. Rumors abound. It's going to be a little bit crazy for all of you day traders out there.
Day traders, yes.
Be careful what you're looking at and the rumors that you've heard, because all is not clear.
And that's January 8th?
January 7th and 8th, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, are going to be it's going to be a little bit crazy stock market wise, I think. And other money exchanges. We're talking Bitcoins, we're talking all those silly things that are out there. Anyway, that's not for me to say, but still it's true. This conjunction of Venus and Mars is also square Mars, particularly from the 6th until the 22nd of January. And with the Sun until the 19th of January, it's going to be square to Chiron and to Eris. Now, this only feeds the war spirit that's in the air. And the square to Chiron pushes this message of the lesson to be learned somewhere in here, in the madness of this eternal lesson of war and peace and how to find ways to get along without killing each other. So this is sort of an ongoing thing and will be particularly important, but through this month of Capricorn, which is already a sign of elevation. This is where egos get sort of out of control sometimes.
Yeah.
And so we've got a lot of very important otherwise people saying, yes, well, let's just cancel all this nice talk, all of these negotiations and all of these parties and these conferences are not really what it's about. And let's get down to the nitty-gritty and give me what I want.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, there's a saving grace in here. And once is not, a habit, but for once, our hero of the hour is Pluto. Now, Pluto is nobody's favorite planet. It's always, it's a heavy planet, does a lot about destruction, also reconstruction, also transformation, a lot of kind of heavy duty subjects. However, this month, Pluto is in a lovely trine to our friend Sedna, also is making a lovely sextile with the Black Moon and with Ceres. Now, when it's really acting well, these are little small asteroids, but still they have their place. And this message seems to be helping out, maybe through the UNICEF or maybe through the Médecins Without Borders or who knows who. But it seems to be helping a lot of children, and it's going to be extremely helpful in adoption procedures going on around the world. You're adopting pets as well. You're wanting to take in lesser beings and helping them out. Pluto is there to help for once. Let's use it. This is particularly nice on, I'm going to say, the 31st of December, the 9th of January, the 13th, 14th of January, and the 18th, 19th of January. This is when the moon is going to be helping a lot in these programs. Now, not getting too much help from Mercury, though, on the 23rd to the 29th of December. Mercury is going to be square to the moon on the 26th of December. Moon is going to be square to Pluto on the 29th of December. So these are dates that are maybe a little less good in the program. However, the tendency is very strong. And I think we're going to see more aid coming into children through UNICEF, more aid coming into the different wars, and finally getting something done as far as the humanitarian angle.
Okay. There's been a lot of talk about creating peace in Ukraine and around the world, and there's bogus peace prizes being given, and
yeah,
that nothing's really happening there.
True. true. It's very true. Now, Pluto, I don't think is going to make a lot of noise. We're not going to see just, parades and banners and things going on with all this help towards children and towards families in distress. But I maintain that behind the scenes, things are finally the walls are melting down a little bit, and we're going to be able to get relief to especially children that need it. And a lot of help in with the medical field. Here in Switzerland, it's been kind of interesting because finally children from Gaza have been brought to Switzerland to be operated, to be held in local hospitals. There aren't many, but slowly but surely, the different cantons have to decide these things. And slowly but surely, they're saying, yes, these children have to be taken care of. So, there is, on that level, already some help being accomplished, and this is good. I'd love to see a worldwide adoption of this attitude, get the kids in, get them proper medical care. And this is the next generation that's got to rebuild all this shit. And so, yes, we've got to take care of these children.
Well, we have to be taking care of everybody, in my opinion. I mean, that's what the name of the game is, being human, is we care for each other.
I agree. This movement of Pluto with Sedna, with also Ceres, who has a lot to do with the family relations, and makes me think about children especially. But yes, your message is definitely clear. We've got to end the folly and just start rebuilding these different communities, these different civilizations that have been destroyed, decimated.
Yeah.
Peace on earth. Peace on earth.
Goodwill toward all.
Yep.
Well, okay.
That's what we've got really to look forward to. So, we're going to stick it out. But I think we've got a good attitude, at least, in getting things off the ground with this new moon and with a new rising sun. Huh?
Yes. And so for the solstice, is there anything in particular besides what we've talked about that we need to know about the solstice?
Well, the solstice is always a time of, I want to say, balance, looking for balance. If you're very sensitive to these things, you sort of feel, and so the earth is kind of turning around and getting in and out of the sand finally. And we're beginning to see the light, to see something new. Now, in nature, this isn't immediately available. All of nature is sleeping and acting very, very quiet. Nothing's growing out there yet, except that the energy is being taken in. All of this decomposition that was going on in Scorpio is feeding these plants. This is going on right now. And now when the sun is beginning to warm us up again, it's beginning to show itself in the mornings. It's beginning to react on these roots, on this humus. Why we're going to see that, in fact, this is finally going to carry its fruit. So, it's a new beginning.
That's very interesting you say that, because I've been listening to the telepathy tapes. I don't know if you listen to that. It is amazing. It's all about energy and telepathy. Second season, there is an episode about plants and communicating with plants, and plants talk to certain people. And one botanist, in particular, and I think naturopath doctor, was talking about this patient who had some kidney problems. And he went out to the forest to see what plant she needed to have. And the nettle talked to him, and he said, "But it's winter. Your leaves are all dried and withered." And the plant said, no, she needs the seeds. And then it turns out that, he studied this, and the seeds were exactly what she needed for her kidney disease, her particular disease. So all of this to say that the natural world has these cycles that we need too. Right? So yes, this is the time for the humus to be forming and all the planets decaying and rebuilding their forces and getting ready for this to happen. When the spring comes, our bodies need detoxing from the long winter. And the best detox is dandelion, which is the first thing to bloom. So, it's almost as if the planet is taking care of us.
It certainly is trying.
It's totally proving it.
I think, yeah, between our total ignorance and ignoring what's going on and destroying all the good stuff, we've pretty much done a number. And certainly this poor planet is running out of patience, I suppose. But maybe if, yeah, maybe if on a just a very personal level, we can take care of our, cultivate your garden out there. And yeah, we can finally maybe turn some things around, go plant a tree, go do something.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and there's that song, for every season, turn, there is yes. That is so true. Every season, it has its own perks that help take care of us. And that's what working in conjunction with the planets.
Sure, of course. Of always. Always. And the moon. Let's not forget her.
Not the moon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in partnership, truly, which is why we do this. And so just to be in partnership with our planets and our natal chart, wherever those planets happen to fall for us in particular, because it's all about us, right?
Right.
So what's the best way for someone to know where their planets are, Mary Jane?
Come and see me. Come and see me. Have a natal chart drawn up that we'll talk about in exhaustively. And if you have any questions about where your thoughts, where your actions, where your reasons are coming from, it's time to look at them and time to get on surfing again on the surface of these movements instead of fighting against them. When we can get ourselves involved in the circuits, why it's a real pleasure. It's a real pleasure and so much simpler.
Well, and if anybody has ever wondered, why do I always have a terrible time in January? Why are when Mercury is retrograde, why am I always such a mess? These these types of questions can be answered by looking at your natal chart, right?
Well, for sure, for sure. And remember, each one is different. Your neighbor's problems aren't necessarily your problems, and vice versa. So it's time to get your own schedule, your own cycles situated. And then the whole exercise becomes ever so much easy.
Oh, I think so too. Just,
Yeah.
divine timing. Just wait for the timing to roll around. So anyway, to get a natal chart done, we would go to radiatewellnesscommunity.com/appointment.
Right.
Schedule a week out, yes?
Yes, 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 yes. Give me time to act and time to fix an appointment time that's going to be good for both of us. As soon as I have your information, I can go to work and we can set up a good time.
Right. And when you make an appointment at radiatewellnesscommunity.com/appointment for a natal chart, there is a form to fill out with your birth details, the time of birth.
Voila. Yes, this
place
is stuff I need
birth.
to even get to work. Right.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have done it again. We have discussed another sign and we are prepared now for the holidays, aren't we?
Yes. Yes. And I hope all of you have glorious holidays. Take good care. Be careful out there driving around on the slippery roads and be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Be patient with each other and have a good time.
Happy holidays, everybody, whatever you celebrate, even if you don't, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes, we'll get started again in Aquarius.
In Aquarius. All right, Mary Jane, thank you so much. See you next
Very
time.
welcome. See you next time.